All right, video number 3. So this one we're going to talk about bars and beam and how we're going to run those two events. Okay, so bars, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 bars for 7 stations, okay? Now, not only are we expecting super small classes as everybody returns, but we are lowering the class ratio for our classes. This past year we did 9, and even we got really full, which was awesome, and I hope we get back to that point, but for right now we won't. We had 9, and some classes even were overcapacitated at 10 or 11 because we were so popular. So now it's going to be a class ratio of 8. We're going to say 8, and then we'll allow up to 9 for overcapacity. No more than 9, no matter what. We'll ask kids to see if they can look at their schedules to change classes before we do anything like that. But anyway, so there's 7 stationed at bars. Let's say you won't through the summer. You probably won't. But for team classes, those might. But anyway, you need to have a station for each child, okay? So if you include the floor bars, which are great stations, and rec teachers, your curriculums already include those 7 bars, that's 7 stations. If you need more, no matter what your class is, you guys, we reorganized this area so it was a little closer to bars, but you have so many resources to use for extra stations. It can be something as silly as you get the hands and feet and you do a handstand against the wall. You get foam blocks and you do V-ups between his ankles. You get a bar. There are so many bar drills with weights, or we have this wonderful thing that I love, which is literally a bar on an iron. There's so many drills you can do. So that's another thing you guys are going to want to do is look up drills that cater to the classes you're teaching this summer and just have those 3 drills on lock in your head in case you need to use them so you're not floundering with your 10 minutes on bars that's already gone by. So that's bars. You need a station. When you use the floor bars, I know some of the rec coaches got confused on this because I saw it in the fall, but 1 floor bar should go in between the 2 high bars. That's roughly 6 feet. The other floor bar should either go under the strap bar if it's available, or on this gray piece of foam because it's roughly 6 feet, it's actually a little more, than 6 feet away from that floor bar. And then you've got your ratios good. Your other stations, you're just going to have to eyeball it. Once again, do not get the tape measure out. But just eyeball it and find a place to put your extra stations if you need them. Okay, that is bars. Beam is the same thing. Everyone needs their own station. Now, luckily, with all our beams, we have 9 beams. So my rec classes, you guys should never have to pull over an extra station for beam. Now, we have been running the curriculums where you do 2 weeks of everyone on a beam and you yell switch. You're going to have to start doing that, but instead where we normally, we normally stand at this beam and we watch them, you're going to have to, if you have a full class, obviously just cater it to the number of kids you have, but you're going to have to stand at the far beam and you're going to have to pick things that they can easily do on the 2 high beams by themselves, especially your tumblers class. 1 beam should honestly, both of them even, should literally just be practicing getting up on the beam and jumping off. It doesn't have to be crazy different, okay? Older classes, more advanced, it's easier to figure out what they can do because they're more confident on the high beams. Now, on the 2 weeks in your curriculum where we've been putting them all on the high beams and we've been doing our lines back and forth, you guys are going to have them each have their own beam. You're going to have to say, okay, let's do forward releve walks. When you get to the end, jump off, go to the next beam, okay? And then you're going to have to do it that way. That way they're all going to turn on the higher beam so you don't have one kid that spent her entire beam time doing walks on the floor beam. So you are going to have to do it that way. As far as sanitizing beams and bars, those are going to be sanitized by me once a day. USAG, which I was really grateful for their opinion on this, but they said it is unrealistic and practically impossible to say that you're going to run a class and clean each piece of equipment after each kid. 1, the equipment is not made to handle that much liquid, so it will deteriorate. 2, things like bars and beams, they're not supposed to have liquid even on them. So I will be sanitizing those once a day, and that will be that. Okay? Most likely I'll be doing it that night so it's prepared for the day before. And through the summer, sometimes like on Mondays when we have morning and evening classes, I'll be cleaning it in the afternoon so it's getting twice a day that time, okay? So you can take note, you can calm your minds, they are going to be sanitized. But you by no means are in charge or needed to clean each of those stations in between each kid. Once again, when you're spotting them, so if you personally have a station, you should be wearing your mask. If you're walking between the beams, then you know that works. Obviously, if you have smaller groups, I'm fine. If you're, well, I don't know. Little kids are stupid. They hurt themselves. Basically, just wear your mask when you're spotting or you're close to them and talking to them. That's pretty much it for beam and bars.